Cool. I'm going to go ahead and get started. So, hi everyone. Thank you for joining us today to learn about the Sierra Nevada AmeriCorps Partnership, also known as SNAP. We'll be going over what the program offers, and then you'll hear from 4 of our current members and their specific positions and experiences in the program. I will be recording this webinar and we'll upload it to our website by tomorrow. So if for any reason you need to hop off or want to go back and share this information with your friends, you'll be able to find that under our SNAP page. So SNAP is a unique program put on the Sierra Nevada Alliance and AmeriCorps for the past 14 years. Each year, we place 28 AmeriCorps members with partner conservation organizations throughout the Sierra Nevada. During their term of service, members restore and monitor impaired Sierra watersheds. They educate and outreach to Sierra residents and visitors on environmental issues and recruit and manage volunteers for a variety of programs. SNAP members gain technical skills and training. They're mentored by environmental leaders within their organization and provide a meaningful impact to the communities of the Sierra Nevada. While members are serving, you're provided a living allowance, loan forbearance, and healthcare benefits are provided, as well as an end of service education award. So where do we serve? Our members are placed throughout the Sierra Nevada region, which is outlined in this map. It lies on the eastern edge of California. The Sierra Nevada region incorporates more than 25% of California's land area and forms one of the world's most diverse watersheds. This area is made up of 16 major watershed areas and totals to 24,000 square miles. So why is this type of conservation work needed in the Sierra Nevada? The Sierra Nevada faces a lot of ongoing challenges with influxes in population, climate change affecting drought periods and invasive species, as well as historic ecological damage from mining. There are 788,000 residents in the Sierra and over 50 million annual visitors. Our region includes 4 national parks, 2 national monuments, and 20 wilderness areas, so it's very popular for tourists. It's home to half the wildlife of the state and supplies 60% of California's water to agriculture and residents. Just in the past 10 years, over 129 million trees have died in California due to drought and bark beetle infestations, and 85% of that was in the Sierra Nevada. California has a heavy gold mining legacy that impacts are still found in streams and waterways. And right now, projects focusing in the Sierra Nevada are centering on enhancing and restoring the upper watershed forests and meadow systems, reducing the risks of large damaging fires in the summer, and improving water quality and water supply reliability, as well as safeguarding significant habitat and migratory corridors. So when you join SNAP, it's a great program. It's a good stepping stone for those passionate about conservation and the environment and looking to gain experience in these types of projects. We offer a variety of positions focused in education, water monitoring, restoration, and volunteer coordination. These positions are treated like a full-time job, and you're expected to work an average 40 hours a week, and that can change due to field work or special events, but we definitely recommend it's a full-time commitment. These roles, our next 11-month term, we offer 2 different types of terms. We have a 5-month or 11-month. The 11-month will start this year in October 15th, and will run till September 18th, 2021. We will also be hiring in the spring around April for a 5-month term as well. Like I said before, members receive a monthly stipend of $1,345 a month, and it is taxable, unfortunately. You'll also receive standard health insurance as well as an end of the year service education award that can be applied to student loans or future education expenses. So with that, I'll leave you and introduce you to our 4 speakers today. These members are in our current cohort and have been working with their organizations for 7 months now. Our first speaker today is going to be Lauren, who is a Sierra Field Tech with Trout Unlimited in Truckee, California.
All right. So as Brooke mentioned, my name is Lauren. I serve with Trout Unlimited, which is actually a national nonprofit. So there's offices all across the nation, but I specifically serve with the office that is in Truckee, California, which is just north of Lake Tahoe. My position title is the Sierra Field Technician. So I am kind of in charge of data collection and project support and any field work pretty much for the entire Sierras. We have projects that go as far south as Sequoia National Forest and up into the Lawson area. So kind of like what my work looks like for the 11-month period that I'll be with Trout Unlimited is essentially during the winter, I do a little bit of field work like as weather allows, you know, mostly local stuff around Truckee and the Tahoe area. And then I do a lot of work with the grassroots chapters, which is, again, another Trout Unlimited kind of setup program, but we have a lot of people that get together across the nation and need, these are just like everyday people who want to get out and do conservation activities or support their local fisheries. So I do a lot with them, helping to coordinate their events, helping them to partner with the Forest Service or the Park Service to get out and do restoration activities and stuff. I also spent a lot of time over the winter preparing for and going to different trade shows and other events. So like a lot of public outreach. One of my pictures is from one of those days. I've been doing a lot of prep for spring and summer projects. I do spend a lot of my time when I am on my computer doing GIS and logistics. So if you like maps, this is a great position for you because you will be looking at a lot of maps. And I also do a lot of report writing. So all of our funding comes from national, state, and private grant sources, and all of those funders do want written reports. So that's a lot of data analysis and looking at, you know, how well our restoration efforts have gone. So a lot of report writing. And then in a typical year, the field season starts in March and goes through September. However, I've been still inside. And so this year's field season will start in full swing, hopefully in June. But we do have a lot of projects that include greenhouse gas monitoring in high alpine meadows, and that's in coordination with the Forest Service and UC Merced. That's down in Sequoia National Forest. We do a lot of work on aquatic organism passages. So those are culverts that are out on Forest Service land, seeing if like fish and other amphibians are able to get through those culverts to access habitat. We will be doing a lot of prioritizing Forest Service roads for decommissioning. So taking some of those old logging road systems out of Forest Service lands. There's just so many of them out there that they don't know where to focus their limited funding. So a lot of my work is walking those roads and figuring out which ones are contributing the most sediment to our waterways. We also have local restoration projects, so like around Truckee and Reno, Tahoe, that are going on, and a lot of those involve volunteers and stuff. I also, as the field tech with Trout Unlimited, am often, I guess, like hired out to the California Department of Fish and Wildlife to do electrofishing for them. So a lot of electrofishing surveys also go on, and a lot of them that's kind of a big part of spring work is electrofishing. And then because we have so many restoration projects that have been already done in the Truckee area and on the Truckee River itself, every year there is a large push for continuous snorkel surveys so that we have a large amount of data from every year about fish densities around these restoration projects. So that's kind of what my life looks like. Some of this stuff I've only been able to prep for on the GIS and logistics side just because of the virus. But yeah, that's kind of what the Sierra Field Technician position looks like. Brooke, are we doing questions at the end, the whole end, or now?
Let's wait till the whole end.
Okay.
If you have specific questions, you can go ahead and type them in the chat right now and just, parentheses for Lauren or Sierra Field Tech. But let's just wait to the end.
All right, sounds good.
Cool.
And
Thanks,
I'm
Lauren.
done.
Thank you.
Oh, wait, never mind. I'm not done. This was a map that I forgot I put in there. This was just, demonstrating, we're based in Truckee, but we're really all about the entirety of the Sierras. So I think I did the orange circles are places that I go for outreach often. So Sacramento area, San Francisco area. And then the blue circles are where we have our major projects this year. So those change year to year. But as you can see, just in 2020, the projects and the travel involved is like pretty much through most of the Sierras. Now I'm done.
Cool, thanks. Awesome. Our next speaker is Mary.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Mary McDonald and I am the restoration coordinator at the South Yuba River Citizens League. And that's in Nevada City, so about an hour west of where Lauren is, an hour west of Truckee. It's a really beautiful spot in the foothills. If you don't know it, you should look it up. So as a restoration coordinator, I am responsible for lots of different things. And that's kind of what drew me to this position, because it involves field work and it involves science and the outreach portion. So I just think it's a really nice mix of things, but the bulk is definitely monitoring restoration projects. So that means hopefully June, I'll be in the field every day if everything, goes according to plan, which who knows right now, there's a lot of uncertainty, but June I'll be in the field and collecting data. So that will be, I should say, so a lot of the restoration projects we work on at Circle are in the meadows of the Sierra Nevada. So I'll be doing meadow restoration work. So that involves doing vegetation surveys, identifying plants, collecting soil samples, spending all day in the field, getting dirty in the sun. It's awesome. And then with all that data, we get to take it back to the office. And that's mostly what I'm working on now is data from last year. So data entry and analysis, making graphs and figures, as well as making maps, writing reports. And it's really fun if you like science, I would say, like if you're into the whole process of understanding why we're doing this work and feeling passionate about the power a strong scientific back can help make change in these meadows. It's really awesome. So it's good if you're into that, and also if you're into attention to detail. A lot of the data entry can be very detail oriented, so that's important. And I've also been able to build some more technical skills and doing statistics and programming and things like that. So that's the bulk of my work, but I also get to help with some more fun, like local restoration projects. So for example, I got to coordinate our annual Scotch Broom Challenge. And Scotch Broom is an invasive weed in the area that grows in really dense patches and adds to the fuel loading. So it's very hazardous for fire season. So I got to coordinate this challenge, which meant I got to reach out to people in the area, get them fired up about removing this invasive species, get them educated on why we want to remove it, and really encourage them to take ownership of where they live and put in that work to make a difference. So that was a really fun part of my job. Unfortunately, this was canceled. It was supposed to be like the very first weekend of April, but I did at least get to go through the process of coordinating it, which was exciting, and encouraged people to pull Scotch Broom in their backyards at least. So I hope people did that. And then kind of like I've mentioned and touched on, I get to work with volunteers, which is also awesome. I love sharing my passion for restoration work, getting people, like I said, fired up about it, really understanding why we are restoring our landscapes. And it's exciting work because the idea is that you're restoring it forever, right? In perpetuity, and making a difference on the landscape forever. So it's, even though, I'm just here for a year, it's awesome to be part of these projects and hopefully make that little difference. So yeah, currently just at home, working on data, working on understanding our projects, and then hopefully by June, get to play outside every day. Yeah, so that is me. I hope that gives you a window into what my life is like as the restoration coordinator. Yeah, let me know if you have any questions.
Awesome. Thank you, Mary. And yeah, if you have any questions for Mary, feel free to type them in the chat box for now, and we'll go over those once everyone's done talking. Our next presenter is Marie, who has been with SNAP for 2 years now.
Hi, everyone. As Brooke just mentioned, this is actually my second year with SNAP, and I've served both years with Eastern Sierra Land Trust. So while a lot of these things, unfortunately, are not going to happen this year, I was able to experience them last year and can tell you a little bit about them that way. For those of you who don't know, Eastern Sierra Land Trust is located in Bishop, which is on the other side of the mountains from most of the other SNAP positions. And we're about 4 hours south of Reno and about 20 minutes from the Nevada border. So it looks a little different here from some of the other places. Still amazing. As the education coordinator for Eastern Sierra Land Trust, I basically run our Community Connections program. And our Community Connections program is focused on making a difference in the community and especially working to connect people to the land and to the outdoors. There are 3 main projects that I work on. First one is Eastside Pollinator Garden Project. With that, I get to help people in our community certify their gardens as pollinator friendly, which is really cool because I get to travel and chat with people in their gardens and sometimes hang out, and they will make food, and but really just creating pollinator habitat is the focus of that. Within that, we have quite a few events that I organize, plan, run. We have like a backyard garden festival, which is supposed to be this weekend actually, and just kind of a fun backyard. Everyone comes, they can buy native plants, they can buy vegetables, there's usually a pizza truck. There's education components to it, so I organize that. There's also, we do a pollinator garden tour where people can go around and learn about different people's pollinator gardens and strategies they've used to create pollinator friendly habitat. We also do an educational workshop, which this year is going to be in the form of a webinar. So just like, how do people create this safe space for pollinators, this haven in their backyard, which is kind of actually fun right now because that's one thing people can do. So that's one section of what I do, kind of focuses on the pollinator garden, maintaining our garden, the events, going through the certification process. And I run education programs. One of our main programs it's called the Sunflower Garden Project, and third graders from the local elementary school actually walk to our office, and they each get to plant their own sunflower and take care of it. They come back every other week. I get to play in the dirt with them, which is one of my favorite parts of the job. I love having kids that are like, no, I don't want to get in the dirt. I don't want to get in the dirt. And then by the end, they're usually covered in dirt and having a great time. So that's our main outdoor education program. They learn about sunflowers, native plants, gardening. They get in the picture there, they've all painted their own little pots that they were bringing home sunflowers in. So that's one of my favorite parts. I'm kind of sad I'm not going to get to do it this year, but we're playing around with what we can do. And then we also have a couple of other programs that I help with that we don't necessarily run, but like we take also the third grade classes out to a little local area, and we do monthly outdoor lessons with them. I've taught science expos. I took 8th graders out to the river and had them measuring stream morphology. Only had to fish one 8th grader out of the river, but it's a lot of fun just helping the kids and connecting them with the land around them. And the third big part of my position is what we call land stewardship events. And these are organizing community events that are focused on getting people out on the land. Sometimes they're to clean up a river, which is what you see in that picture. Sometimes they're to make the barbed wire fences wildlife friendly. Sometimes they're educational events, like I've done birding field trips, wildflower field trips. We just recently had a field trip to learn about the local mule deer here. So basically just events that get people out on the land, help them to connect and just make a difference. So those are the 3 main parts of the programs. There's a lot of little things that fall both under those and other things. But like both Lauren and Mary have mentioned, I love that with this position, I get to do so many different things. A little bit of restoration, a lot of education, a little bit of monitoring. It's just a really great experience to get a hands-on environmental. And then if you want to go to the next picture, Brooke. Mm-hmm. When not working, I love, love, love exploring this area. So
The beautiful picture.
Thanks.
Awesome. So our next speaker actually is going to come on our video. So I'm going to stop sharing. And Amanda, if you were able to get on here and want to share your screen.
I don't have a fancy slide, so I'm just going to talk.
Cool.
Can everyone see me?
Yeah, I can see.
Cool. Okay. Hey everyone, my name's Amanda, and I'm a current SNAP member serving with the Tahoe Resource Conservation District. So the Tahoe RCD is considered a special district. It's a regional district, and we work all around Lake Tahoe, which is technically 4 counties and 2 states. And the Tahoe RCD has a bunch of different programs, which I kind of get to work across. So the programs are aquatic invasive species, land management, stormwater monitoring, and then the program that I work mostly for, excuse me, is the Fire Adapted Communities program. So for the Fire Adapted Communities program, I conduct a lot of education and outreach about wildfire and wildfire preparedness. So on a day-to-day basis, I do a lot of writing. I write weekly newsletters, I do press releases, and I manage the Tahoe Living with Fire social media, which posts on behalf of the RCD, as well as behalf on local fire districts and the U.S. Forest Service. So I also get to do a lot of graphic design on Adobe Illustrator and website editing on WordPress, and even a little bit of video production. Just to kind of find new ways to conduct outreach, since our audience with wildfire preparedness is mostly focused on an adult audience. So we kind of have to create creative ways to keep adults engaged and excited about preparing for wildfire. We also have a program called the Tahoe Network of Fire Adapted Communities, and it's collaborative. So I work with, public information officers from the fire districts, people from the Forest Service, and we work with neighborhood leaders all around the Tahoe Basin. So these are volunteers who kind of represent their neighborhood and try to prepare their neighborhood for wildfire. So it's a lot of volunteer management, kind of getting these volunteers ready to prepare their neighborhoods. Normally this time of the year and in the summer, we prepare for community and neighborhood events. So we work with those neighborhood leaders and do defensible space work days and education events. But because of COVID-19, those aren't really happening. So we're trying to make adjustments and do online webinars and workshops. We have a webinar coming up about home retrofitting, like retrofitting your home for wildfire. So that's really cool. I'd say my favorite part so far about the SNAP program is just the flexibility within the position. Kind of like everyone has said before, just being able to do a bunch of different things. For example, I have the opportunity to work beyond the Fire Adapted Communities program, so I can work with the RCD and help with stormwater monitoring. Today, actually, after this webinar, I'm going to help with some water monitoring in Johnson Meadow and South Lake Tahoe. So I'd say it's really awesome in that it's so flexible, and I've had the opportunity to go to all kinds of trainings and learn all kinds of skills. I kind of always thought I would go more in the direction of science and research, and through this program, I've kind of got a new passion for multimedia communication within conservation, so that's been really awesome. So I'd say it's a great way for anyone who is just coming out of college or in a career transition, not exactly sure what they want to focus on, because SNAP really allows you to explore a new path. Yeah. And also you get to live in the beautiful Sierra. And if anyone has any questions about Lake Tahoe or the surrounding area, feel free to ask us.
Awesome. Thanks, Amanda. I'm gonna share my screen again. Yeah, so I'll also mention we're on Facebook and Instagram, and we do something called Takeover Tuesday, where our members make posts about their positions and a little bit about their background. So if you're interested in any of our other positions, I definitely go there and check them out. Also, our website has all the position and position descriptions available as well. So just some benefits of being a SNAP alumni. You can see this is a recent grab from all of our 14 cohorts of where they're working today. The top 4 are sort of similar to the positions we offer. So a lot of them stay in the same position or have experience to go to other positions. You can also see there's a bunch of colors there. So even if you don't necessarily want to stay in that position forever, you have great experience as a first-time job to apply to a lot of different areas in the environmental field and human resources and whatnot. Another fun fact is that 1 in 3 SNAP members stay in the Sierra, so there are a lot of us around. So I would ask people in the area if they've ever been a SNAP member, because more likely than not, they have. So if this at all interests you, our applications for our next full term positions, which start in October, those applications will open on June 8th and are due or will be closed on July 24th. So this summer, you can find those applications on our website under the SNAP page under Join SNAP. The application process is relatively easy. It's a Google form. You also have to apply through AmeriCorps, which all that information is included, and just a resume and cover letter. If you have any questions, my contact information is at the bottom right there. It's just brooke@sierranevadaalliance.org. And I have everyone who registered for this, I have your email, so I'll also just send out a reminder when we do open our applications, and you can check that out. So if anyone has any questions, now's the time. Emma Sullivan typed in our group chat that she says, that is such a sweet sentiment. I love that feeling of being a part of making a difference. Stephanie asks, what is the living situation like for all of you? So SNAP doesn't provide housing. You're on your own for finding housing. I'd say every location is different as far as what's available and price range. Do you guys have anything to add for that?
Yeah, I can add a little bit. Yeah, so I'm living in South Lake Tahoe, which surprisingly, living-wise, rent-wise, is a little cheaper than where I was living before. I was living in Davis. I went to UC Davis. So it's actually cheaper for me to live here in South Lake. I'd say financially, SNAP can be rough, but it's also very doable. My rent here for a room in South Lake is $675, and so with the SNAP stipend, that's still, after rent is paid, that still leaves me with a couple $100s for the month, which is, it is doable. I'm making it work, so you can make it work for sure.
I'll just jump in and say I live in Truckee, which is a pretty small town and a very expensive town. And so it has been hard for me to find affordable housing. But I think a big thing is to just get on searching for housing. Like as soon as you find out that you're accepted into the program, or you know that this is what you're going to do. I've had previous experience with other AmeriCorps programs, and I think every time I've moved, the sooner I start looking and the more people that I reach out to, the better deal that I'm able to find. And so like this year, I was actually able to find a place where part of my rent is paid in shoveling and dog sitting. So if you're, you know, cool with reaching out to people, you know, you might be able to find something like that where it's not all just a straight like payment. So that's my only recommendation. Oh, and there's a lot of SNAP members or other AmeriCorps members everywhere. So reaching out to those networks is always good.
I was also going to add one thing. The SNAP program, at least where I am, has been a part of this community for quite a while. And whenever there's a new SNAP member in the community, there's, like Lauren mentioned, there's a lot of alumni that are willing to help. Also the staff of the organization I work for, they know they have contacts. And so everyone is just really willing to try to help find a housing situation. So there is a bit of support that also comes with this program and from it being in place for so long in these communities.
Awesome. Theo asks, what kind of prior experience is required for most positions? His background's in invasive plant management and would love to develop skills in fisheries field work. So the general requirements for SNAP are you must be a U.S. citizen, a high school diploma is required or GED. We do recommend having higher education degrees or 6 months of relevant experience in restoration monitoring, education, or field work. You have to be at least 18 years old, no previous criminal history, and you must not have served more than 3 AmeriCorps terms of service. So that's just for the SNAP program. Every site has specific requirements as well, which you can kind of get a gist of on our website in the position descriptions. They usually see the type of work you'd be doing and sort of experience expected of you. Anyone have anything to add to that?
Yeah.
I can
Oh, sorry.
go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I would just say that I worked only in like forestry and rangelands before and hadn't done anything in meadows or restoration. And I'm like learning everything there. And that, you know, I still got the position. So this program is definitely to learn things. So don't let any job description scare you away if you don't have experience in exactly that.
I'll just add on kind of more specifically to the fisheries side of it. I applied as Trout Unlimited's field tech with 0 fisheries experience. My background is geology and hydrology, and they hired me, and I'm learning everything I need to know for that, the fisheries side of it. And also just being able to like sit in on the kind of their hiring end, because my organization also hires half terms. I know that what they're most interested in is just prior field experience, whether it's fisheries related or whatever the, you know, program is going to be doing, is just like comfortableness in the field, being able to camp, hike, you know, being okay, like having a positive attitude in the field, and then just having like a strong science background. So I think if you have like a science background and you're interested in field work, just like show that as much as you can, and don't worry so much about like what specifically you're going to be studying out in the field.
Just wanted to add one thing. My background is in science. It's in biology and environmental science, but we definitely have SNAP members both last year and this year who didn't have much of a background in science. And like everyone else has said, you do really learn, if you've got transferable skills, you do really learn about the specific positions. But yeah, a lot of the SNAP members right now, I believe, do have backgrounds in environmental science. And someone correct me if I'm wrong on this, but there's no reason why you necessarily have to have a strictly science background.
Yeah, those are all good responses. Let's see. Emma asked, what are some academic classes or experiences that helped you during SNAP, or classes and experiences you wish you had taken or experienced?
I can start off with that one. Just for me, it was a lot of the environmental science classes. I know I just said you don't need a background, but I learned a lot of transferable skills from college that have transferred over. One class I wish I took was a GIS class. I was not able to take one in college and have found that it would be helpful if I had. So if you're still in college right now and can take a GIS course and you're interested in this, definitely do it.
I'll second that. I think especially with COVID-19, my position has transitioned to like 80% GIS. And so I think that that's been super helpful having taken those classes in undergrad. Also, any field courses, if you have the opportunity to get out and take field courses, those are super great.
Another question from Margie is, what undergraduate majors do you guys have?
I got a BS in conservation and resource studies and a minor in forestry and natural resources. That is the conservation resource studies major is like interdisciplinary, so it's included field courses and environmental science, and also some like environmental ethics as well.
I have a geology degree and marine science minor.
I got a BS in environmental science and management. Kind of like Mary, it was really interdisciplinary. So, you know, I was taking classes on economics and sociology, but also like hydrology and geology. So a little bit of everything.
And as I said, I have a degree in biology and a minor in ecology and environmental science.
Are any of you doing a second job to help with living expenses?
I had a second job for a while, and then it really got to me working 40 hours a week during the week and then working Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I quit it. You can make it work without a second job.
I would say, yeah, it's definitely difficult to like have a second job that's very scheduled. But any gigs I can pick up, like house sitting, cat sitting, dog walking, anything like that, on the occasional. But yeah, like Lauren and Amanda, like we've all said, can make it work. And it's good financial skills that you build out of necessity. So.
This is my second year and haven't had a second job except for like dog walking, house sitting, stuff like that. So you can definitely make it work with this as your primary job.
I'll just add, a lot of SNAP members in the Tahoe area sometimes do a weekend job at the ski resorts just to get a free pass. Also, we try to find like workshops and conferences where you can volunteer to get a pass. We definitely recommend like even like music festivals if you want to go volunteering anywhere you can get in for free. But yeah, this is also my second year and I haven't had a second job, but we are all here to support. Another question from Gally, I hope I'm saying that right. She asked if I can apply for the spring 5-month opportunity with the same application you just posted. So to apply for our spring half term, it'll be a separate application that will come out in the winter time. If you applied for the full-time position and decided not to go through with it or wanted to didn't get accepted and wanted to be considered for the half term, we'll take your same SNAP application, but you will still have to apply through AmeriCorps again, I believe, and I think that's it. And then in Facebook, Spencer asks, do you have to choose a 5-month or 11-month term in advance? If you start with a 5-month term, can you extend it to 11? So it's a maybe. It really depends on the organization. But if you do a spring half term and want to stay on, you can stay on full term position starting in the fall. This year we did have some half term positions that started in the fall, but it definitely just depends. Kate asks, how have you built community in your jobs and outside of your jobs?
I can start with this one. For me, anyways, community is a huge part of my job. I have met so many people through the work I do, and also something that has helped me outside, like meeting people outside of that work community, is just getting involved. I started playing ultimate frisbee before it got stopped at once a week. I would go to other clubs. Sometimes there's trivia at the brewery that nearby that you can meet people. So part of the reason I actually signed up to do a second year with the same organization is, one, I was looking for how I could shape the second year to be a little differently, and two, I love the community I'm involved in here. It's very, at least for me, it's very much a small town community where you walk down the street and you almost always see someone you know.
Yeah, adding to what Marie was saying, I think it also depends on where you're serving. Here in South Lake Tahoe, and in I'm sure the other Tahoe locations, there's a big community around, you know, the seasons. So you get a lot of people coming up here to ski and snowboard. And so if you ski or snowboard, you're bound to meet other people in the area who either work at the resorts or hang out at the resorts. There's also lots of bars and breweries here that a lot of locals go to, and they do trivia and stuff. And I'm lucky in South Lake, there are 2 other SNAP members serving here, and we all live pretty close to each other. So there are definitely ways to build community within SNAP, and then within your host organization, and then outside doing extracurricular stuff like sports.
Yeah, I would say like right off the bat after orientation, I felt like I already had like the SNAP members as a community, and in Nevada City, there's a good amount of us, and we hang out. Or right now we do virtual game nights, we do virtual Dungeons and Dragons, which is nice, and have that sense of community throughout all of this. And then also, yeah, same small town vibes. There's a lot of community events that I just have like shown up to, like community dance events where you get to just have fun and meet people. So it's just put yourself out there.
Yeah, join sports teams, intramurals. It's great. I did broomball this year, which is a lot of fun. It was a good way to meet people.
I'll just add that when you start your term, we have a week training where you're with all the SNAP members, and then about halfway through your term, we meet again in the springtime. So there are host sites with multiple members, so you can stay connected with that. And then there's a bunch of alumni in the areas of our host sites that you can connect with too. Paige asked if a car is recommended when participating in SNAP. It definitely is recommended. It has been done without before, so it's possible. But I think most host sites are looking for people with their own transportation. Lauren Sam has a question. Do or will you ever camp in the field when you go to do field work further away, like in Sequoia National Forest?
Hey, Sam. Yeah, pretty much all of my field work will require camping. Some of that, most of it will be tent camping. The whole month of July, I'll be in Sequoia, and there's the potential that they're going to give me a camper. But yeah, most of it's just tent camping. So yeah, if you are looking at this position, I would say definitely iterate that you are comfortable camping, potentially even backpacking. Some of our work takes place in wilderness areas where you have to, use pack mules and backpack in. So yeah, if you're interested, like definitely like demonstrate that you've either done that before or are super comfortable with it, and like have that experience or desire to be outside for potentially like months at a time.
Sweet, thanks, Lauren.
Cole asks if we can apply for multiple positions within one term, and if so, does each position require a different application? So yes, you can apply to multiple positions, and it's just one application. You'll indicate that on our SNAP application, which is a Google form. It'll ask you to rate your ideal positions. So it says rate top 3. You can put more than 3 or less than 3. So If more than one position interests you, definitely put it down. Amber asks, does SNAP have a staircase system where living expenses and grow into a full-scale job? Okay, for my response to that, I'm going to say that the goal is to, get a full-time job after this. I'd say a lot of our SNAP members have been hired on by their host sites in the end, or eventually do. Also say that SNAP is just a great networking opportunity as well, just to have that connection with our program. Like we said, a lot of our alumni are still in the area and with these organizations in the Sierra. So it definitely helps you out in the long run to be a part of the program. Do you guys have any response to that?
I just know that like our office head was a SNAP member 12 years ago. My direct supervisor was a SNAP member 5 years ago. So they're both working full-time, and this is their full-time job, with real pay and benefits and the like. And we've talked about like me staying on for another year after this. So I think, if you're interested and the program likes your work and they have the opportunity for you to be hired on, like it's definitely something that happens and worth talking about.
Awesome. Tyler asks, how soon after applying would we find out that we got accepted? So once you've applied, it usually takes a couple weeks, depending on when you submit your application. Definitely will hear back to us soon after that July 24th date closes. And then the interview process works with your first interview is just a general interview for the SNAP program. And then we'll send your information to the host sites you apply to, who will then review and decide if they want to interview you. And then you'll have a second interview just with them. And then we'll hear back with their decisions and we'll make a decision, and then you'll hear from us after that. Nico asks, what's the most important advice you can give to someone from the lower regions of California for acclimating to life in the Sierras? We do have a training in our first orientation that goes over to just like the basics of Sierra living. But if you guys want to respond with your specific answers, go for it.
Yeah, I can touch on this one a little bit. I grew up in LA for my whole life, and then I lived in Davis, which is flatlands, and then moved to the Sierra. I'd say my biggest piece of advice for someone who's not used to snow, which I wasn't. I had tried skiing like twice when I was a kid and convinced myself that I hated it. My biggest piece of advice is try a snow sport and like find a way to love the snow. Like I said, I didn't like skiing when I was a kid. So doing SNAP, I tried snowboarding and I like loved it. And I went snowshoeing a lot because I've talked to some other people here who don't do any snow sports, and the winter for them is just kind of brutal because if you don't do any snow sports, you're kind of just stuck inside, and it can be a hard adjustment for someone who's not used to the snow. So I'd say embrace the snow, find the snow sport that you like, and find a way to love shoveling. Another thing that I did is I had to put, my car isn't all-wheel drive, so I would have to put chains on. And so my way of not hating putting chains on was to time myself every time and try to get faster. So my personal record of putting chains on is 3 minutes. So find a way to love the snow.
I'm not from Southern California, so I don't really know how to answer this question. But I think everything that Amanda said is great advice. And also, you can still get sunburn in the Sierras in the winter. Moving from Montana, I had to learn that. So wear your hats and your sunscreen and your sunglasses.
For me, I kind of had almost the opposite of those. I originally came from Maine and came out here, and I live in the middle of a desert. Bishop is a desert, beautiful desert. Getting used to the heat and the full-on sun. The winters and the snow I could deal with, but for the heat was challenging for me. Coming from Southern California might not be as much of a problem.
Yeah, I'm from not too far and I just love it here. So you'll fall in love with it too, I'm sure.
Stephanie asked, do you typically work independently or with a team?
I would say it definitely depends on your host site. I work with a team. I'm never, first of all, I don't think anybody, well, I don't know. I don't think most people are out ever in the field alone or working completely by themselves. You typically have a field buddy. I always do. And I work closely with my supervisor. She's the science director, or not the science director, the science project manager. So in that way, I like constantly learning from a mentor and then also working with other people in the science team. So working with a larger team, taking information from a larger group of people.
In my case, anytime I go into the field between like November and April 1st, it's actually alone, which is a lot different from previous jobs. Like as Mary said, that was like something new I had to get used to because I was used to always going into the field with a field buddy. But then my host site actually hires on a half-term or 2 half-term members starting April 1st. And so anytime after April 1st, I would have either one other field partner or there would be 3 of us. So yeah, we also partner a lot with other organizations that provide field support. So yeah.
I kind of, since I do a lot of like writing and design, I work mostly alone, but I often talk with my supervisors and have them review a lot of things. I've grown to really love like constructive criticism. Like, you know, we've said SNAP is a great opportunity to learn and grow. So it's really fun to kind of use your supervisors as mentors, have them, you know, help you grow. So even if you do work alone, like I do, you always have your supervisors as a resource and can work as a team with them as you choose, depending on your host site.
Yeah, I'm in a pretty similar situation to Amanda. Most of my day-to-day work, if I'm not out on a stewardship day or education event, is pretty independent work. I do work pretty closely with my supervisor, and I'll work with our communications team and our stewardship team, depending on the event. But just day-to-day, I'm working very independently.
I'll just add, that's kind of relevant to this question, is that SNAP members have the opportunity to do site exchanges. So if you are looking to try out something outside of your position, if you're like in an education position and want to do some field work, you can apply to do a site exchange with some other SNAP members and go over to their site and help with the project, or vice versa. So there's also opportunity within the program to either get out of your team or do something different. But those are all our questions. So thanks to our amazing SNAP members and speakers today. We really appreciate you guys coming on and for all the amazing questions you guys had. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to me directly or visit our website. And yeah, hopefully you'll see you guys' applications in June. Thank you. Bye.